Off his back end, try to find Pelon. Swung and missed on his shot. Counterattack, Jordan Topping. Partial breakaway, shoots and scores. The fourth on the postseason for Jordan Topping. 11:08 left in period 3. And the Silvertips in Game 6 in grave danger. It's 5-2 Tri-City.
Well, now if you're the Silvertips, it's time to start thinking about taking Carter Hart out of this game. It's 5-2 right now. You've got a good backup goaltender in Dustin Wolf, and maybe your goaltender's tired at this point. He's played an awful lot of games in the postseason. It might be time to see something new in net for the Tips. Not going to happen right now, though.
That's 4 unanswered for Tri-City, and that's the loudest we've heard this building all night. Dawson Butt a trip on Sasha Mutala. And the Silvertips, unfortunately, have hit their low point here in this game, number 6. Dawson Butt will go, 11:01 left in period 3, and Tri-City's going to go back in a man advantage, up by 3 goals.
Well, if ever there was an embellishment call, that would have been it. As Sasha Mutala, I'm pretty sure he broke both his legs right there as he went down, because he went down hard and then got up and pointed a finger at Dawson Butt, telling him that he earned, now we've got to fight.
Oh, boy, here we go. And Carter Hart was nearby all of this as tempers flared. Wiley's in there. Fontaine's in there. Geeky is around the pile. Rasmussen is as well. And the last guy to get up off of this is Patrick Bykov.
Yeah, and something happened right there. Carter Hart came to his defense. As soon as Carter Hart comes to the defense, that's when everybody gets involved. And Bykov appears to be bleeding as he's leaving the ice.
Well, it's playoff hockey. Expect the unexpected.
Topping's headed to the box. We'll see if he's the only one.
Tri-City 5, Silvertips 2, and there's just one door open here to the penalty boxes. The officials, Kyle Kowalski and Jeff Ingram, here to discuss matters. And they have since even things, I should beg your pardon before I say even things up here. Dawson Butt was in the box. So Topping to take a seat.
They hadn't even dropped the puck yet from that penalty.
So which might have eradicated that power play. 11:01 to go in the third period, and the Silvertips just need something good to happen in any shape or form. They had a 2-1 lead and are seeing Game 6 right now slip out of their fingers. We have seen crazier things happen at the major junior level. In a span of 11:01 than to simply come back with 3 goals. But the time is right now for the Silvertips to make it happen, or else Game 7 is going to happen tomorrow night. So Matt Fontaine back at the penalty benches here as captain to get the word. Michael Rasmussen opposite side of him as well. The door is still open right now in the Tri-City penalty boxes.
And there's a lot of talking going on. I have a feeling there might be some more penalties coming here.
That wouldn't surprise me.
They haven't gone to get anybody yet.
They have Dawson Buss 2 minutes up there. And Jordan Topping will
his 2 minutes
take a seat. That's what we were going to say. That will eventually go up, and now it does. So Jordan Topping eradicated anything of what resembled a potential power play for Tri-City. And now Dennis Williams back at the Silvertip bench here to get the word from the officials.
Well, I think he's talking about the fact that Patrick Bykov is bleeding pretty heavily right now, and I think that's weighing into his argument is this guy is bleeding. This needs to be more than just 2 minutes here.
Jeff Ingram, Kyle Kowalski, the referees this evening. Nick Bilko, Michael McGowan are the linesmen. The shots are 29-21 Silvertips. 11:01 to go, and here are the penalties.
2 minutes for tripping. Tri-City Americans penalty to number 12, Jordan Topping. 2 minutes for roughing. Butt with a trip, Jordan with the rough. Time of the penalties, 8:59.
So it's looking right now. It's going to be 4-on-4, and that might be the source of contention here for Dennis Williams, and figuring that Bykov is bleeding as a result of all of that. 2 minutes aren't enough.
Yeah, and I don't know what Topping did to make Bykov bleed. If it's with the stick or if it's with his hand or what it is, those are two totally different things. If he's using his stick, it's 4 minutes. If he's using his hand and it just came as a result of the punch that he got the penalty for, it's not more than 2 minutes. Either way, it looks like it's going to be 4-on-4 after a lengthy conversation here. And the Tips, it doesn't really matter how many people are out there. They've got a job to do. The fact that it's 4-on-4 right now is a mental mistake by the Tri-City Americans, and that's a chance for the Tip. I mean, it just got rid of that entire power play.
I mean, if there's any time like that right now where you have to reset and play like it's nothing, it's now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tips will go Dewar, Pilon, Wiley, and Christensen out there. Yaremko, Bean, Sawchuk, and Coughlin for Tri-City. Pilon trying to split the defense and broken up Tri-City blue line. Yaremko off to the right side. Sawchuk cross ice for Bean. Corral shoots. Blocker save Hart. Rebound Christensen couldn't clear. To the net, Coughlin sent one wide. Out of the reach of Bean. Kept in Yaremko. From 60 feet sends it wide and play by Jay Christensen behind the net. 1:34 to go on 4-on-4 time. 5-2 Tri-City. Christensen weaving his way in across the line. Off left wing for Dewar. Took the shot, knocked down. Shuffles it back to Pilon. Inside of the blue line. Pilon looking for an open space and lane. Drops his center point for Wiley, cutting right side. Wiley shuffles it wide of the net. Loose puck in front for Dewar, who scores! Connor Dewar gets the Tips back within 2 goals with 10:08 to go in period 3. Off the bounce from off the backboards, a Pitbull trying to spark a rally. He's got 12 on postseason play, and it's a 5-3 game.
Well, that was really, really big. You talked about if there was ever a time to get it going, it's now. The Tips still 4-on-4. That's good for them, but they were able to get a goal quickly, and now we're back into hope. Still over 10 minutes to go. A lot of time, a lot of chances here for the Silvertips.
Dewar's now got 3 goals in his last 2 playoff games. Time of the goal coming at 9:52. As we said, we have seen crazier things happen at this level than 3 and 11 minutes. And a goal the Tip needed pretty badly. Here's Davis in the slot. Tees one up. Save made by Day. And he hangs on. And if you're Tri-City, that was too close for comfort. And Davis wide open, just narrowly missing. Will step aside. 9:55 to go in period 3. Tri-City 5, Silvertips 3. And you're listening to Sound Transit, Everett Silvertips playoff hockey on Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3. Tips down by 2 with 9:41 to go in the third. Rasmussen cruising on through into the offensive zone. Textbook breakup by Kevin Davis, and he'll park one to the far corner for Andre Valla. Connor Dewar from Wyatt Wiley and Garrett Pilon at 9:52 to give the Silvertips a chance. Here comes Valla up the left side. To center ice, feeds Bykov. In across the line to the right side. Has got 2 goals this evening. Curls back to the hash marks and trying to leave for Davis. He battles Bean, and now Bean stick caught in the midsection. Bykov still hustling over. Fontaine is there. But now corralled by Olsen to center ice. 9:05 to go and play back to 5 aside right now. Olsen in it. But out of the right side, a shot by Bean, missed the net. Rebound to the left wing for Jordan Topping. Hit by Bykov and sends this one behind the cage. Fontaine to Corral. With 8:45 to go in period 3. Here in game 6, Tips up 3 games to 2, but now need 2 more. Pilon dumps it in. Over left corner for Dewar. And around to the right side. Pilon tried to center, but a rolling puck bounced away. Here comes Tri-City. Topping ahead for James. Left wing shoved by Wiley. Rolls it in deep. Sawchuk behind the net. Poked away by Gianni Fairbrother. Back in the Silvertips trying to chip away. Pilon cross ice. Dewar hit Valimaki. Broke the puck up. Loose now for Wyatt Wiley to control. Wiley brings it in across the line. Drop for Dewar. Snapshot. Glove save by Patrick Day. And he hangs on now with 8:04 to go in period 3.
Good opportunity there for Dewar. Nice shot. Day in a good position, able to make that glove save. But Wyatt Wiley started that play by getting involved. 5-on-5 hockey now. The Tips need to find a way to get it done. They need that next goal, and they need it pretty quickly to get themselves right back in this game.
trying to get the collection of Silvertip fans who made the trip down here more to get crazy over. Fontaine to the right circle. Face-off is controlled by Tri-City. And Jake Bean behind the net for Coughlin with inside 8 minutes left. Lead toss Olsen at center. He'll chip and chase. Against Jake Christensen to the right corner. Spun cross ice, Rasmussen. Over to the far side, Tips take it away. Left wing Christensen. To center Bykov, up the left wing Richards and across the line. Dropped it back for Bykov out of his reach. Now controls, Bykov fires and missed the net. Rebound Morgan Geekie clears right boards and back to the Silvertip zone. Wyatt Wiley ahead for Fontaine. Tri-City is changing to the right side. Bykov tees one up and just missed the net. Loose puck to the far side. 7:20 left in regulation. Tips again trying to chip into the deficit. Down by 2. As Wiley fed it back in Tri-City zone, Gattenby is there. Leaves the right side of Alamaki. Tips have girth up front now with Kindop and Vitelli. Alamaki taking his time, finds Gattenby, stretch feed, off Isaac Johnson, deflecting in deep Silvertip zone. Blocker side corner of Carter Hart. Johnson battling left side, checked by Girth. Topping hit by Vala, Tips take it away. Back comes Vitelli. On through center, right wing, dropped it for Kindop to the net, save made by Patrick Day. And a rebound to the far boards, Johnson clears. Tips are getting their chances. Trying to find daylight now as Kindop a chip and chase. Right corner wiped out by Valimaki. 6:25 to go. Pilon controls. Chipped away by Yaremko. Topping nearly gave it right back and in deep Gattenby. Second chance wires it all the way down the ice. This to result in an icing call. And a face-off will come back into the American zone now with 6:13 to go in regulation.
That last Kindop shot barely caught Day on the shoulder. Day didn't have a chance at it, and he's just kind of lucky that it hit his shoulder. Great opportunity there by the Tips. Just keep it going, Tips. Keep it going. You got plenty of time. 6 minutes left in this one.
Pilon, Sutter, and Dewar up front. Tips win the face-off. Davis up high. Fires and scores! Kevin Davis with 6:07 to go, and the Silvertips are right back in the game. He absolutely unleashes one from straight away, right over Patrick Day for his second of the postseason. It's a 5-4 game.
Wow, we got ourselves a game again, and the Tips just being resilient, putting pucks on net. Now that momentum has swung the other way. Tips got to keep it going right now. I expect to see a timeout here from Tri-City maybe pretty quickly here so they can regroup. And it looks like they're mulling around like they might be calling it right now. Nope, my mistake.
They will give it a go. Time of the goal at 13:53. And the Tips are right back in the game. Pilon ahead, broken up by Sawchuk. Skates in, wrist shot, missed the net. This is a very important shift coming up right here. It's Maxwell James right circle. Sends one to the blue line, Coughlin. Deflects it right circle. Sawchuk now locked up by Sutter. Tips control. 5-4 game. Tips were down 5-2. 5:40 left in the third. You betcha, friends. Plenty of time here. Pilon now takes it away. At the left circle. Walks in. Fires one. Scores! Garrett Pilon has tied the game. They've come right back. 5 minutes and 31 seconds to go in regulation. We got a brand new game 6. Do you believe it? The Silvertips have tied it 5-5.
Oh my goodness. Holy cow, the Silvertips putting all sorts of pressure on. Now keep that train rolling right now. You've come back this far. Now just keep it going, do exactly the same things you're doing, and let's see if we can get this Tri-State Americans team on the bench. Now they call timeout.
Left reeling, and head coach Mike Williamson is forced to bring his players over. And you betcha all the momentum on the Silvertip side. They have battled back to make it a brand new game with 5:31 to go in regulation of Game 6. And you better believe it. Do they perhaps remember what happened at Portland in Game 4, Dan?
That's actually, the funny thing, I almost said it when they were down 3-2. I said, you remember the last time the Tips were down 3-2? But now the Tips have 5:31, and this is important. Again, you just said that last shift was so important. Now this shift, so important for the Tips. They need to keep this momentum going. You see the top two lines out here, the big lines, the starters out for both teams right now.
I mean, we are working on a game 6 here for the ages. 5:29 to go, Tips control. Wiley will gun it back in behind the Tri-City net. And Day lets it go for Yusuf Alamaki. Up the right side for Kyle Olson. He'll lay it back in. Wide of Carter Hart's blocker. Played by Rasmussen in front. Chipped away. Dewar hustling over. Left wing, he'll skate to center. To the red line. Works it back in. 5:07 to go. Into the corner. Worked on by Valimaki. Sutter is there. Checked by Olson. Dewar jumping into Sutter. To the blue line, Christensen. Knocks it down. Loose puck. Dewar traces it right corner and leaves for Pilon. Been one of the best players on the ice this evening. Dewar side of the right circle. Now in the slot. Wrist shot. Just missed the net. Connor Dewar bidding for the lead. Fontaine to Pilon behind the net. 4:38 to go. Tri-City takes it away. Rasmussen forced to center. Waiting for it. Wyatt Wiley. He'll regroup to Christensen. Off to Pilon right side. Fontaine takes over. Checked by Yaremko, and Fontaine forcing it in deep with 4:21 to play. Davis from Riley Sutter. Garrett Pilon unassisted. As now Olson brings it back into the right circle. Tip zone forced wide behind the net. Centering attempt off Fontaine. Olson gets it back. Feeds the blue line for Bean. At the left side with 4:04 to go. Yaremko left circle to the back for Conklin. Tees one up, missed the net. Rebound to the left side for Bean. He rides the line. Pressured by Bykov. Chipped it down low, worked away by Davis. Tips win the battle. Trying to find the exit lane. Davis left side for Richards. Will skate to center. 3:42 to go here in regulation. Game 6, the Tips in lightning quick fashion have fashioned a 3-goal comeback to tie it at 5. Isaac Johnson will swing it back in behind Carter Hart. Tips control Davis. Up the right side at center. Loose puck taken by Vitelli. Into the offensive zone by Gattenby. And Vitelli knocked down by Maxwell James. 3:15 to go. Tri-City counters. Wiley on a cross-ice pass knocked it away as Tri-City was attacking. And now James fumbles the puck off his glove. And now Kindop knocked away by O'Coin. Tri-City knocks it back in with 2:54 to go. Behind the Silvertip net, Fairbrother up the left wing for Dewar. Cross-ice toss. Pilon right wing and across the line, looking in front, and a deflection just out of the reach of Dewar. Left corner, Sutter spun around by James. Pilon jumping in. 2:37 to go. They send it back out of the reach of Wyatt Wiley. And back to recover in the Silvertip zone. Long toss right side. Pilon stick handling and across the line. Snapshot, missed the net. 2:24 to go here in regulation. We are tied at 5 here in this riveting game 6. Glad you can be with us. Tips up 3 games to 2. Rasmussen bouncing one toward the net. Taken away by Jake Christensen. The open guy is Bykov right side, but he's stationed against the circle. Olsen coming in to provide pressure. Bykov kicks it up the boards, and Fontaine breaks the center. Here come the Tips. Fontaine right side. Drop for Richards. Uncorks one. Save made by Patrick Day off the pad. 1:48 to go. Richards low to high pass. Nobody was there. Back comes Tri-City. Left wing Olsen. Wrist shot. Glove save. Carter Hart. He hangs on. A whistle now with 1:41 to go in regulation. This is peak playoff hockey, tied at 5 in Game 6.
I wonder how many defibrillators they have in this building right now, because this is quite a game going on. The Tips have done a great job of controlling the second half of this third period, and they got themselves right back in this game. Now the Americans are doing a little gut check of their own. They've started to pick up the pace. Tips, this is a really big face-off right here, really big shift for the Tips.
Tips won it. But now a battle against the left boards. Johnson against Andre Vala. Johnson in the slot, poked away by Connor Dewar. And forced to center ice off Jake Bean. Tips with 3 goals in the span of less than 5 minutes here to breathe new life in Game 6 and trying to go for the kill shot. Tonight here at Toyota Center. Up 3 games to 2. 1:15 to go in regulation. Tri-City with Jake Bean. Lead toss out of his own zone. Rolls all the way through. No icing call. Played by Vala. Up the left wing. Here come the Tips and Connor Dewar. Into the offensive zone. The trailer is Garrett Pilon. Shoots one. Deflection. Just missed the net. Loose puck kept in by Christensen. Threw one in front. Knocked down. Loose puck. Taken away by Isaac Johnson. He golfs it to center ice. Tips regain. Right wing Pilon. In across the line. Shoots one. Blocked by Dan Gattenby. It deflects up and out. And we have 44.7 to go in regulation. Game 6. All tied. 5-5.
I don't even know what to add right now. We've gotten to a point where this game is just out of control. It's a fabulous hockey game. The Tips, it's every time they get the puck on their stick, you can see that excitement in their movements and everything. They want to score that goal. Every single one of them wants to score that goal.
They lead in shots at 36-22. Face-off right circle. Richards, Fontaine, Bykov, Davis, and Christensen. Up against Geeky. Tips control. Bykov for the hat trick. Shoots and just missed the net. 38 seconds left. Rasmussen jammed by Bykov, but Tri-City forces one to center. Bykov fell down. Tips take over. Richards ahead for Bykov, left wing. In across the line, and now Bykov spinning off Olsen. Low to high pass. Christensen. Cross ice for Davis. Into the slot. Fontaine fires and blocked by Coughlin. 17 seconds left. Rasmussen, who looks out of gas, forcing one back in tip zone. Poked away by Christensen. Davis used the left glass, cleared it out. 6 seconds to play in regulation. Valimaki regrouping for Coughlin. He'll hang on, and guess what? We need sudden death overtime to decide this Game 6 and maybe the series. Tips are trying to end it in the same fashion as they did in Kelowna in 2004. Apropos with a game tied at 5 and the Tips roaring back to life down 5-2 with 3 goals in less than 5 minutes. You gotta love playoff hockey.
Yeah, you know, during the intermission, you and I were talking, and I said I would love to see overtime here, and that was because they were trailing by 1 goal going in there. I really didn't want to see it the way we saw it, but the Tips able to come back all the way down 5-2 at the 10-minute mark of this period, able to come back and give themselves a chance to win it in overtime now. Absolutely, the Silvertips, tremendous job, tremendous heart right there. They lead in shots 36-22. We've got a 15-minute break now, and then we go see some overtime playoff hockey.
The Silvertips are 13-15 lifetime in playoff overtime. Their last win was in a Game 6 situation on the road to close out a series. That took 5 overtimes. The CHL record, the Tips set with the Victoria Royals on a game-winning goal by Cal Babbage at 11:36. The Tips fashioning a wild and remarkable 3-goal comeback to make a victory possible here in Game 6. The Tips and Tri-City tied at 5. We'll come back in a moment with highlights and numbers, and you're listening to Sound Transit, Everett Silvertips playoff hockey on Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3. In a Game 6 brewing to be a classic. 5-5 the score heading into sudden death overtime. If the Tips can win it tonight on the last shot, they win the Western Conference title and will move on to face Swift Current for the WHL Championship Series. The Tips scored 3 goals in the span of 4 minutes and 37 seconds to rally out of a 5-2 deficit. 5-on-5 for OT. The Tips 13-15 in franchise history. Last OT win, Game 6, Round 1 last year at Victoria to win the series 4-2 in 5 overtimes. Buckle up. Here we go. Tips control off the face-off, back behind their own net. Kevin Davis off the right glass ahead of Pilon. Finding Sutter and Striding across the line. Wrist shot missed the net. Rebound behind the cage, and now Sutter looking for Dewar. Trying to force one back. Sutter is there. Returned one to the circle. Broken up by Johnson. Flip to center. Johnson now to the center ice logo. Will flip it back in. Left side corner of Carter Hart. Andre Vala working backboards against Johnson. Topping knifed away by Kevin Davis, and back in the Silvertips. Dewar ahead for Pilon. Left wing broken up as he forces one back in. Fontaine off the bench, hangs on, shoots. Blocker save made by Day. Rebound for Dewar, right corner. 1-on-2 against Gattenby. And also Yaremko as Tri-City works one over near side. Kept in by Cobb, sent one cross ice. Played by Richards, right corner. Centering attempt up the middle it goes. Kept in Christensen. Off left side for Bykov. Around Yaremko. Sent one cross ice and broken up by Tri-City. And Rasmussen, he lost the puck. Fontaine is there. Leaving for Bykov, right circle again. Off the back end, sends it up high. Wyatt Wiley, wrist shot save made by Day, leaked wide. Richards in front, almost out the back of Day and just wide. Puck kept in by Christensen. Big pressure here by the Silvertips. Trying to end it right now. Tri-City takes it away. Rasmussen up the left side, flips it in. To the Silvertip net, Carter Hart paddles it free. And now Wiley left side for Christensen. Up the left wing, Richards to Pilon and across the line. Straight away, rolls on net. Save made by Day. And a rebound to the corner. Sutter jumping in, but knocked away by Geekie. Tri-City clears it. Davis ahead now for Dewar. Jake Bean now taken away. Dewar in the slot, tried to tap it back now as it deflects over left side. Kept in Pilon. At the left circle is Sutter. Spins it into the corner for Dewar. Let it go for Pilon. Left side feeds it low to high. Pass to soft, taken away, and here comes James in Tri-City. James will float it in behind the Silvertip net. Play by Carter Hart. Long toss up the left wing for Dewar. He'll chip it back into the American net. Knocked away by Day. Valimaki ahead now. Right wing for Sawchuk. Spanks it in. To the left boards, O'Coin. Hit by Wyatt Wiley. Tips take over. Maybe have numbers if they can hustle here. Is now Reese Vitelli on through center. He'll flip it back in and wide of the Tri-City net. Against Valimaki. Loose puck now for Spencer Girth. Taken away right side by Sawchuk. Clear to center. Left wing O'Coin. In across the line. Centering attempt. Broken up. Nice play. And Kindop ahead for Girth. Will tap it back in. Pretty good play to get that one around Coughlin. 16:52 to go in overtime. Tied at 5 here in Game 6. Tips need one more to go in for themselves. They advance if that happens. Loose puck now right corner, topping, centering. Off Yaremko, knocked wide. Fontaine to the far boards. Tips take over. And Bykov trying to find open spaces here, but being worked on by Yaremko, and the Tips take over again. 16:26 to go. Through center, Fontaine. Try to chip and chase, and that caught the turnbuckle by Dustin Wolf. Tips bench. That brings a whistle. Overtime. Tied at 5 here in Game 6.
So far, the Silvertips in overtime are doing what they want to do. But, like we said before, momentum doesn't matter at all. Any puck in the net ends the game. So the Silvertips need to just keep this up. Right now, they're doing what they wanted to do. I'm sure this is what they talked about in the locker room, and they just need to continue to keep this going.
Sutter and Yaremko on the face-off right circle. Tips control, and Dewar sent one to the blue line. Davis shuffles it behind the net. Taken by Pilon, left corner. Centering toss, here's Dewar. Save made by Day, and he hangs on. And Connor Dewar had that roll off the heel of his stick and slid into the 5-hole of Day, and even then, no guarantees on that one, but he hung on with 16:13 to go.
Patrick Day had no idea where that puck was. It was between his legs. Those are the ones that trickle in, and he's just able to make sure it didn't that time. So close to Connor Dewar ending this one.
Tips keep the same line up front. Face-off left circle. Tri-City zone. Tied at 5 in overtime. Tips control. Pilon left circle. Hangs on, buys time and space. Takes a shot, knocked down. Now chips one to the corner. Left side play by Dewar. Dropping for Pilon. Hangs on to it in the slot. Through one down low to the right corner. Dewar chips it in front. Out of the reach of Sutter. Kept in by Andre Vala. Fires this one wide of the net. Dewar behind the cage, spun around by Gattenby. Sutter jumping in. Sends it up high. Here's Davis. Wrist shot. Save made by Patrick Day, and he hangs on. Right into the glove, and a whistle here with 15:40 to go in sudden death overtime. Game 6. All tied 5-5.
Oh, good job there by Patrick Day, as that was a really tough shot by Davis. Day able to stay in front of it, square himself to the puck, and make sure there was no rebound, because there was traffic in front of him. The Tips would have nailed one home if he had let one go.
Fontaine left circle face-off, Tri-City zone. Richards out there, Tips clog it down low, but Aucoin took it away. Ahead for Jake Bean at center. And across the line, chipped it for Sawchuk, taken away by Fontaine. He'll reroute for Jake Christensen. Into the trapezoid with 15:22 to go. Christensen leads the attack. To center red. Christensen skating across the line. Left side, taken down through one of the nets. Save made by Day. That's a penalty coming up now. And the Silvertips will get a power play to end this one right here. 15-12 to go in overtime. And Jake Christensen draws a trip against Dylan Coughlin. Tied at 5 in overtime. The door is open.
Well, and that's one of those plays by Jake Christensen. He earned that trip by working hard, by keeping his feet, by moving his feet. He got around Coughlin. Coughlin really had no other opportunity. He tried to put his stick in there and break up the play and just brought Christensen down. Christensen stuck with it, still got a shot off, earned himself an overtime penalty.
Left circle, Bykov, Fontaine, Pilon, Dewar, and Davis. Tips control. Here we go. Tied at 5 in overtime. Davis to Pilon, left circle. In the corner for Bykov. Sent one back, left point, Pilon. Across for Davis. Back to Pilon, left point. Wires one to Bykov, left circle. Drop for Pilon. Centering attempt is broken up by Dan Gattenby and cleared down the lane by Morgan Geekie. 5-5 in overtime. Here come the Tips, right to left across your radio dial. Davis will drop for Fontaine at center. Right wing Bykov and across the line. Off for Dewar at the blue line. Davis to Dewar, left side. Takes a shot and blocked. Kept in Pilon, right boards. Pilon skates down low. Now returned in front. Deflection, scoots on back. To the top, Kevin Davis. Hangs on to it. Off for Pilon, top left circle. To the blue line for Davis. Right side, Fontaine. Back for Davis up high. Hangs on, steers it left side. Pilon through the box, out of the reach of Fontaine. Scoots it down low, and here's Dewar. From the corner. Dewar hangs on, sends it back. Davis tees one up. He scores! He scores! How sweet it is! A comeback for the ages. The Everett Silvertips are 4 wins away from the Ed Chanel Cup. They're the champions of the Western Conference, and they're going to the WHL Championship Series. Off a blast from up high. A power play goal with 14:02 to go in sudden death overtime. Final score, Silvertips 6, Tri-City 5, and the Silvertips win the Western Conference 4-2. Pandemonium off the bench as Kevin Davis let one fly. And the Everett Silvertips make their second appearance on the WHL Championship Series. You betcha, in one of the greatest comebacks that we have seen in franchise history. The boys in green join Silvertips lore of 2004. And you bet the journey is not done yet. And for many of this Silvertip organization, it is considered unfinished business. But we mentioned back in our pregame show, finding ways to win. And Kevin Davis embracing Mitch Love back at center ice as the Silvertips continue to embrace each other. They didn't quit. Down 5-2 at 8:52 of period 3. It leads to a power play. A rip by Kevin Davis up high. And to lead the Everett Silvertips off one of the wildest comebacks in franchise history. One of the greatest. On to the WHL Championship Series. The great tradition in all of sports underway, the handshake line at center. The Tips will face the Swift Current Broncos in the WHL Championship Series. Game 1 will be Friday in Swift Current. The series will come to downtown Everett for Game 3, Tuesday, May 8th. Tickets will be on sale in 10 minutes. at everettsilvertips.com/playoffs. The Silvertips win the best-of-7 series, 4-2. Off an overtime winner, we presume right now, it is now confirmed to Kevin Davis, Connor Dewar, and Matt Fontaine the assists. The time of the historic goal at 5:58. You can rest easy and celebrate this team coming back home as Western Conference champions. We thank you for joining us. What a wild ride. Stay tuned. Post-game show brought to you by Tulalip Resort and Casino is coming up next. And you're listening to Sound Transit. Everett Silvertips playoff hockey on Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3.
In the closing ceremonies tonight from the Western Hockey League, Vice President of Hockey, Mr. Richard Dirksen. Ladies and gentlemen, the WHO would like to congratulate the Everett Silvertips on winning the WHL Western Conference Championship and advancing to the WHL Championship Series. The WHL would also like to extend congratulations to the Tri-City Americans on a very successful season. At this time now, Mr. Dirksen will now present the Western Hockey League Western Conference Trophy to the captain of the Everett Silvertips, Matt Fontaine. And ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the Western Hockey League Western Conference champion Everett Silvertips, who will represent the Western Conference in the WHL Championship Series, which will begin on Friday, May 4th. And congratulations to the Everett Silvertips, and good luck in the WHL Championship Series as you compete for the Ed Chenoweth Cup and the right to represent the WHL at the 2018 MasterCard Memorial Cup in Regina.